Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boy's TV. Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Go figure, get the figures, let's make about 8. When worst come to worst, my peoples come first. I was hardly making George before I'd written the verse. Kept my mind straight, no hate, work with my ambition. Invested in my ideas when nobody would listen. They told me I couldn't do it, so they think I could buy it. But they ain't even trying, ain't no need to deny it. Black continuity of hustle and grind. People been fighting centuries for lives like mine. Trying to look to a higher power, but what I didn't see is the seed of success lies deeper than me. Black Wall Street, gotta get the ground beneath my...
Hey, what's happening, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. So if you're not Black and intelligent, you may want to get the fuck out. This is not a conversation for stupid people. It's not a conversation for closed-minded people. It's a conversation for intelligent Black people. So if you're Black and intelligent, say I in the chat. Shout out your city, shout out your business, shout out whatever you want to shout out. Shout out your baby mama, shout out your grandma, shout out your father, shout out how much you love Kobe Bryant. If you love Kobe Bryant, I'm a big fan of Kobe Bryant's, as a lot of you were and a lot of you are. And I hate the fact that Kobe is gone. But I think that, you know, when you look at the masterpiece called The Life of Kobe Bryant, I think that there's a point where you got to stop mourning and start learning and start growing and start celebrating the fact that he made the most of the time that he was given. You know, God does not promise any of us any amount of time. So if you can learn anything from Kobe, I would encourage you to learn that, you know, you don't know when your time will be up. You got to get the most out of what you have. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Twitter, Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. Please retweet. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, please share it to your page. What's happening, everybody, on Instagram? The Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. So follow us on Instagram at The Real Boyce Watkins. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, share, notification, all of that. So let me break down something for you real quick that really got my attention. You know, I've talked about Kobe a lot this week because everybody's talking about that. I mean, the man had a huge legacy. I wasn't really interested in the standard stuff. Like I didn't even watch any of the ESPN speeches where they would just sort of cry and go on and on about everything Kobe did on the court. We all saw that. I thought that was amazing, right? We all, you know, I'm a basketball fan. I know the same things a lot of people know on that. I really like the little stuff, you know, I like the little extras that really are secrets of success in life. In fact, back in the day, I was, you know, I remember reading Michael Jordan's book. I didn't even like Michael Jordan at the time. You know, I was 23 years old and I read his book and I picked up lessons about success in life in Michael Jordan's book. Like I remember 2 things that Michael Jordan mentioned in the book, and Kobe modeled himself after Michael, and LeBron was kind of the after effect of Kobe, right? So it's like that was the legacy, almost the way you had in comedy. You had Red Fox, then Richard Pryor, and then Eddie Murphy, and then Martin Lawrence, and then maybe Chris Rock or something, right? So you have this lineage. Well, same thing is true when you talk about basketball. And I remember 2 things in Michael Jordan's book that I learned that I'll share with you that I think will help you in life. One was that he said, if you stop growing, you start dying. If you stop growing, you start dying. And so what he was saying is that you should always be looking to take yourself up to the next level. You should always be trying to figure out how to tighten up your game. You should always be figuring out how to get a little bit better at something. Always figure out how to learn a new skill. And I agree with that, because life should be about lifelong learning and growing and everything else. And that's what all this internet stuff is about. The internet, I love the internet as a professor because the internet is a place where the world has become a university. There's so much knowledge. I hear so much information, so much opportunity, so many possibilities. And so if you are a person that is looking for opportunity, there's no better time than the present. That's for sure. The second thing I learned from Michael Jordan's book that I'll share with you is he said that if you have a weakness, you should work on your weakness until it becomes your greatest strength. So whatever your weakness is, you work on your weakness till it's your greatest strength. So if you look at Jordan's career, believe it or not, there was a time where Michael Jordan, where they used to write articles literally where they would say, will Michael Jordan ever be able to win a championship? Like Michael Jordan will never win a championship because first they were like, well, because he doesn't pass the ball. So he started working on his passing and he became one of the assist leaders in the NBA. Then they were like, well, Michael Jordan will never win a championship because he doesn't play good defense. Well, then he worked on his defense to the point where he became, I think, the defensive player of the year, one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. And then they were saying Michael Jordan will never win a championship because he's not strong enough. He's wiry thin. He can jump, but the Detroit Pistons had these big, bulky thugs that would just knock him out of the air every time he jumped. He'd be like a flying twig, and they just pop him out into the stands. Well, then Jordan came back with muscle mass. He gained 20, 30 pounds of muscle, so they couldn't do that to him anymore. Then it was, Michael Jordan's older now. He can't jump. So how's he going to be effective if he can't jump the way he used to? Well, Michael Jordan then developed one of the best jump shots, in the league, right? So sports fans know what I'm talking about. Give a shout out if you know what I'm saying, if you follow this. So what actually at that time, I remember reading that book and learning like, okay, this is how you succeed in life. Whenever you have a weakness, you keep working on that weakness until it becomes your strength. And so when I was working on my PhD, my weakness was math. I couldn't get through my PhD program because I didn't know enough math. So I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to study math so much that I'm going to become a mathematical expert. So I went and I spent 3 years doing nothing but math. For 3 straight years, I did math problems nonstop, and I got a master's degree. I completed the requirements for a master's in math and a master's in statistics. And so that made me super strong in math. So I went from being the weakest in math to the strongest in math, and that carried me through my PhD, right? So basically, whatever it is that you're weak at, you got to see yourself as growing and evolving. That's how you get better. That's how you get stronger. That's how you win. That's how you win championships, whether it's on the court or off the court in life. Everything you learn from sports, if you apply that to life, you can be successful. That's why Black men should be the most successful human beings on the planet, because we're the best athletes on the planet, right? There should not be a disconnect between your success on the court and your success at everything you do. And that's what the Michaels had that a lot of people don't have. That's what the Kobes have that nobody else had, is that these are guys that are going to be successful at everything, because that's a mentality. Winning is a mentality. So everybody in the chat, just say, I am a winner. Just type winner. Type the word winner in the chat to describe the fact that you are a winner. You're not only intelligent and Black, but you are a winner. You will succeed. You will overcome any obstacles, adversaries, haterologists, demons, anything that sets you back. It's okay, because you set up for a comeback, and I want you to keep going. So I want you to type winner in the chat if you feel what I'm saying, if you're going to apply this and inject this into your veins right now. All right, so let me talk about this other piece here. Kobe and the helicopters, right? So I wasn't surprised that Kobe was on a helicopter when he died. Millionaires tend to do that, right? They get choppers and shit. I'd love to have a helicopter myself. I'll probably be doing those Uber helicopters or something, right? But I love flying in a helicopter. It's great. You fly over the traffic, you get to the airport in 10 minutes, and it's awesome, right? So dying in a chopper, some people, I know there's conspiracy theories. Kobe could have got murdered, which is a possibility. People get killed, right? It could have been ritual. I heard people talk about the fact that both he and Whitney Houston died right before the Grammys, which is kind of interesting, right? It's like, I wonder, right? But based on what we know, it could just be, a bad day. He's out there. He's got a bad pilot who flies him into the wind. They slam into a mountain, and everybody dies, right? Well, anyway, I saw an article. There was an interesting explanation for why Kobe loved to fly helicopters so much. And here's what Kobe said. Let me read his words so I don't misquote him. This is an article in 2fab.com. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button, and notification bell while I find this. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, here's what he says. He says he basically, they said that he flew in helicopters a lot because he wanted to be with his kids. He said, every chance I get to see them and spend time with them, even if it's 20 minutes in the car, I want that. Kobe Bryant didn't fly in a helicopter because it was a celebrity. He flew in one because he was a dad. A heartbreaking resurfaced interview with the tragic NBA star shows him explaining the simple reason he chose to fly everywhere in LA, to grab a few minutes with his kids. Chatting with Alex Rodriguez and Dan Katz back in December 2018, he described how he insisted on picking his children up from school and doing after-school activities with them, which he managed to balance with training until traffic between practice and his home in Newport Beach started getting really, really bad. Quote, I winded up missing a school play because I was sitting in traffic. This thing just kept mounting. And I had to figure out a way where I could still train and focus on the craft, but still not compromise family time. So that's when I looked into helicopters and to be able to get down and back in 15 minutes. And that's when it started. He said his routine was always the same: weights early in the morning, kids from school, fly down to practice like crazy, do my extra work, media, and everything I needed to do, fly back, get back in the carpool line, and pick the kids up. Any parents out here know anything about the carpool line? I know all about the carpool line. We got the kids, you got to follow orders and pick your kids up in the carpool line. And he says, my wife was like, listen, I can pick them up. I'm like, he said, I'm like, no, I want to do that. Because, you know, you have road trips and times where you don't see your kids, man. So like every chance I get to see them and spend time with them, even if it's 20 minutes in the car, I want that. And so basically, you know, what I'm seeing is, first of all, give Kobe a digital round of applause for the fact that he was dedicated to being a great dad. Give a shout out, you know, just a digital shout out to all the great dads that are in the building. If you are a great dad, shout yourself out. If you know of a great dad, shout him out, because I think that we don't give Black fathers enough credit for the greatness that we exhibit in all areas of life, not just when it comes to things like sports and everything else. You know, there are millions and millions and millions of Black fathers out here just doing the damn work every single day. And that's an important narrative that needs to be pushed. That's why with us being part of the new Black media, this is the narrative that we're going to push, is we're going to focus on the great things Black dads are doing. So I think that this story was really relevant for that reason. Now, here's a personal note for you guys that you can apply in terms of practical perspective from this Kobe Bryant story that can actually benefit you. Here's what this story made me think about. Kobe's from Philadelphia. A lot of great Black men come out of Philadelphia, at least in the entertainment sports arena, right? You got Kobe, you got Will Smith out of Philly, you got Kevin Hart out of Philly. You have Kenny Gamble, who created the whole Philadelphia sound. I mean, Jill Scott and all that came out of that. Kenny Gamble and Huff. They wrote 3,000 songs, greatest songwriting duo in history. You have the great Bill Cosby out of Philadelphia. Shout out to Bill. I don't care what people say about him. He's either a good man who did some bad things, or he's a bad man who did some good things. But either way, I'm not throwing Bill Cosby in the garbage. So you have a lot of great Black men that come out of Philadelphia, and a lot of great Black women that come out of Philadelphia as well. One thought that crossed my brain when I heard Kobe make that statement is I thought about Will Smith, something I heard Will Smith say 20 years ago. Will Smith, similar to Kobe, just has that Philadelphia ambition. I spend a lot of time in Philly. Every city has its culture. One thing I love about Philly is that the people in Philly, they just work hard for what they get. They're just some really strong and extraordinary people. And so Will Smith was talking about how his false belief at one point in his life was that, you know, I'm going to put everything into my career. I'm going to do everything it takes to be as successful as possible in my career. Go. Now he's extremely successful because of that energy that he's put out there. But what he found was that he was putting so much energy into his career that the rest of his life was falling apart, that everything else he was doing was falling to shit because he was putting everything into his career. So he said the mindset that a lot of people have, ambitious people have, is I'm going to put everything into my career and then I'll give my family what's left over. And he said that's why he got a divorce. He said that strategy fails because when you give your family what's left over, if you're an ambitious person, there is nothing left over. There's nothing left to give them. And so what he realized is something that makes actual perfect sense. And this actually maps back to the Black economic empowerment philosophy that I've been talking to you guys about for a very long time. He said, if you care about something in your life, you need to incorporate that as one of your sole priorities, one of your top priorities in life. You have to factor that in to being one of the things that you put 150% into. Like, you can't sort of give everything to your career and then give your family what's left. You give everything to your career and you give everything to your family. You factor your family in because your family is as important, if not a more important investment in your well-being and your long-term success as anything else. So what he said was, he continued to be ambitious in his career. He continued to be very successful. Will has got more money than Jesus, right? But he also made sure that, you know, as he's going 100 miles an hour to be successful in his career, he was also going 100 miles an hour to be successful as a dad. So one thing that, you know, we hear Kobe talking about how he would fly in helicopters back and forth to go be with his kids. Well, I remember a similar story with Will Smith, where he had a private jet. He would just fly back and forth to China because he wanted to make his son's basketball games. He didn't want to be an absentee dad. So ultimately, what I would say to you is that really is a success strategy in life. Like that's something that you grow into. When you're young, you're thinking it's all about career and all that stuff. And then you get a little bit older, you figure out like, wait a minute, no, all of this connects, all of this ties back together. And so what I tend to do is this. Here's what I do. I have a million things happening in my life. I have a million people that want to talk to me, they want to have meetings. I have places that people ask me to go, things people want me to do, all that. So what I realized is I said, I can't absorb all of that. That's too much. It's overwhelming. So what I do is I pick my top 5 or 6 things that I put on a list, 6 areas that matter to me. And all of my energy, 98% of who I am goes into those 6 things. Nothing else. Nothing else. Right? So the same way I schedule a business meeting, I'll schedule a family meeting. The same way I schedule a speech, in fact, I don't even go to a lot of speeches or go do a lot of interviews because it takes time away from the really important meetings, which are things with the kids, right? So ultimately what I would say to you is that whatever matters to you, you got to go hard at it. And the reason I do believe that Kobe was a great dad, it sounds like he was, is because Kobe is an ambitious human being. Kobe is a person that, or was a person. He is a person. He's still, he's living somewhere. He's in heaven or somewhere, right? I don't know where you go when you die, but let's assume it's someplace great, right? And so Kobe's a guy who is, who's going to just be great at whatever he does because he puts that same energy into everything. He doesn't turn it on over here and turn it off over there. He's got it on all the time. And Michael Jordan kind of has a little bit of that too. And so I would encourage you to have that same thing when it comes to being successful in your life. So that's what I picked up. I picked up the fact that that time management, that efficiency, that in fact that time management piece is really important. And as you grow, and many of you are entrepreneurs. How many of you are entrepreneurs or investors in here? How many of you are people that are going to like build businesses and stuff like that? If you're a business owner, state the name of your business in the chat so people can see it. Well, one of the things that you learn as a business owner, a wealth builder, and as a family person is you learn the value and the importance of time management and delegation. So sometimes you'll spend a little bit more to save a little bit of time. Like there are times where somebody will say, yeah, well, you shouldn't have to pay somebody to do such and such, to wash the dishes or whatever. And I'll say, no, but I pay someone to wash the dishes so that I don't have to wash dishes. I can spend my time over here making more money for the family. Or I'll pay somebody else to shovel the snow so I can go spend time with the kids. Or maybe I'll bring the kids with me when we're shoveling the snow so we can spend time together, right? So that time management piece is critical. That ambition piece is critical. And I encourage you to, when you talk about being a winner, understand that your goal is to just be a winner in life. Make a list of all the things that matter to you, the top 5 or 6 things that are important to you. Family, losing weight, building your business, reading more books, and then allocate all your time into that. You have 8,760 hours in a year to allocate, almost like a budget. Allocate that time so that you know where that time is going, because a lot of the people I notice who don't succeed and don't get what they want out of life are people who waste a lot of time and they don't know where the time went. Success usually doesn't happen by accident. Success typically comes because you were deliberate about it and you were very intentional about it. And one thing we can say about Mr. Bryant is that he was extremely intentional about being one of the greatest players in NBA history. He told you that when he walked through the door, and he kept that promise to himself every single day, every single dribble down the court, every single situation he was in. He kept that commitment to himself and kept that standard of excellence. And it seemed that he did that in everything he did. And that's what makes him a winner. So that was my thought. I appreciate you guys for listening. I hope that it was helpful to some of you. I believe in you, and I want you to believe in yourself. And whatever the fuck it is you're trying to do in your life, I want you to get up off your ass and go do it. That's my order to you right now. So if you're going to go take on that obstacle and get up off your butt and go do it right now, I want you to say I, so we're all on the same page. Say I, give a thumbs up, say yes, say I'm ready. Whatever it is, say something in the chat to let me know that we're on the same accord, that when you get up out of here, I want you to go find something that you want out of your life, and I want you to be intentional about your success, and I want you to go get it. All right. So I'm going to go. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button before you go. Hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button, notification bell. If you're on Twitter, please retweet. Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. And the Instagram, thank you guys for hanging out. It's The Real Boyce Watkins. Also, if you haven't done a free subscription to the Black Business School, go check out theblackbusinessschool.com. You can actually get started for free. That's theblackbusinessschool.com. That's where we do a lot of wealth stuff. And we have a Black movie night coming up. And that's going to be on Thursday night. So if you join the Black Business School, you can actually come in for free. There is a ticket price, but if you're a Black Business School student, you can come for free. And so I'll tell you guys more about that later. So for now, sign up at theblackbusinessschool.com so you can at least get the free admission into some of the programs that we can offer you for free. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.